Good morning, YouTube. Thank you for joining me live this morning. Um, Solid Sports Video Blog, episode 297. Today's date is July 1st, 2025. Our Troy West said, thank you for watching the channel. Thank you guys for subscribing lately, all the support. I appreciate it so much. So, thank you for being here. Uh, Only show this week. Last week we did two shows as I had the time. But I actually worked this week, so I'll be only on today as far as without sports. But we still gonna do Friday night streams this Friday. And I announced the game once we get closer to Friday. Or if y'all have any ideas, if I have the game, I'll play that. Last week we did Ratchet and Clank. So we're gonna do something different. At least try to make it different, at least every week. We might go back to some other games, but that we done already. But I'm gonna try to keep it somewhat of a rotation every Friday. So thanks for that. This episode, we this is mostly gonna be focused on the roundabout series. Of course, this is the AFC West week of our NFL roundabout series for this year. Um, so that's the Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, and the Raiders. We'll talk about those teams today. Um, but we're gonna touch on some MLB and some NBA stuff, some NBA news starting to come out. Free agency um, is starting, so a few little trades happened, so we'll touch on those. But we're gonna focus on those four NFL teams today. So that's what this episode is about. Last Thursday, um, I was supposed to go live, but something came up with my brother, so he was home, so I couldn't record. And excuse the background noise as well. If you hear that background noise, I apologize for that. But other than that, thank you guys for being here. Um, haven't been a rough week so far. I really don't want to get into that, but I'm here, and I appreciate you guys being here as well. So let's go ahead and get the MLB out the way. Then we'll touch on some NBA stuff, and then we'll get into the roundabout series. Um, I always like to look at the MLB standings. Excuse me, American League. I'm thinking about football. American League East, Yankees still with a slight 1.5 game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays, like I said, give this organization credit, all the things that they go through, be it in a small market. Like I said, they lost their stadium, which is to me being underrated, not being talked about enough. And what they doing this season so far is remarkable. Blue Jays hanging in there, they two out. So those three teams right now in prime position for the division and for wildcard spots as well. Boston Red Sox is two under and they seven back. And the Orioles playing better baseball. Like I said, I follow the Orioles because I'm from Baltimore. Um, 11 out, but they've been playing a little bit better. They 10 games under. So still a slight chance, But they gotta, like I said, they gotta continue with this pace that they're going right now. AL Central Detroit Tigers also surprising some people. Now they got the biggest lead um, in baseball as far as their division, 11.5 game lead over the Cleveland Indians, which is under 500. Minnesota Twins at 12.5 back, they four under. Kansas City Royals 14 back, seven under, and the White Sox, of course, just 28 wins on the year. I think they 28 back if I do the math right. So they got double losses as they got wins, and they're 24 and a half back. But you didn't expect much from the White Sox this year. They definitely on a rebuild. AL West, Houston Astros, another team that just every time you think they about to slide, they continue to win. Um, 50 wins over the year, 6 game lead now over the Seattle Mariners. A team that's gotta feel disappointed because they been there knocking on the door to at least make the playoffs, but they always fall short. So maybe they can turn around. Still time. Like I said, they the All Star break yet. Angels and Rangers hanging in there, both 41 wins. Rangers just two more losses. but they both under 500. Both basically almost 10 games back. And then the A's, I guess they came back down to earth. They're struggling of late, 16 and a half back, just 35 wins on the season. National League East, been interesting. Mets been sliding, but they still holding on. Down 2 games to the Phillies. They just got Bryce Harper back yesterday. Um, so the Phillies just going to get healthy. That's going to be an interesting race between those two teams for the rest of this season. I'm hoping my Braves could get back into it. We 7 under, 11 and out though. So I think realistically we gotta just get into the wild card round. We're gonna look at the wild card standings as well. Miami Marlins, 37 and 45. They're 11 and a half back, so basically same record as the Braves got. And the Washington Nationals, 35 and 49, 14 and a half back. But yeah, my Braves got to start making a run as well. Ronald Acuna been playing well, so that's a good sign. The pitching's been up and down, but I think we got a chance at least to make a wild card. I'm going to lower expectations here. I'll be shocked if we can win this division before the season's over with. NL Central, Cubs with a 2-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers. St. Louis Cardinals right there, 3 back. Reds not too far, 5.5 back. So this division is far from over, but the Cubs has been more consistent. Pittsburgh Pirates 14 back. Just can't put it together. Paul Skeens having another great season, but so far a waste as they down 14 games in the division. AL West, I think the Dodgers is about to take off and dominate this division. They got a 7.5 game lead now over the San Diego Padres, 8 of San Francisco. Arizona's even 42 and 42, 10.5 back. But I think that is going to continue to grow. I think the Dodgers about to make their push. They're getting healthy. Tony's now on the mound, so that's going to give them more pitching depth. Dodgers is clearly top to bottom, probably the best team in baseball, even though they don't have the best record. I think Detroit slightly has the best record. Let's see, winning percentage. 624. Dodgers. They're even. They got the same winning percentage, so they even right now. But if you had to take those 2 teams, of course, you probably would take the Dodgers, even though I like Detroit. And they started pitcher. They got so but you would take the Dodgers because they're the deeper team clearly than the Tigers, but the Tigers have had a great year. And the Rockies still not 20 wins yet, 19 and 65. Don't know what's going on in Colorado. But shout out to my man, Good Vibes. Never heard from him in a little while. He's one of my loyal subscribers. He was a Rockies fan. Well, he is a Rockies fan. Probably still, hopefully. But basically, just scratch your head. I don't know what's going on with the Rockies. But clearly, when they have one, basically, you got to have a deep lineup, take advantage of that altitude, and just have steady pitching. Of course, you're just not gonna, you haven't seen it in their history for them having any type of great pitching. So I think you just got to outscore teams that they're on the road. You know, try to play the best you can on the road, but I think you got to really take advantage and win a lot of games at home. So. But we'll see. Like these teams, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Washington, all these lords, Miami, Miami always going to be up and down franchise. And the A's, of course, they got a lot of work to do. All these last place White Sox. So yeah, I throw the Orioles today because they're the last place team too. But I just think out of all these teams, the Orioles definitely in the better position. Not just saying that because I'm a fan of them, but I think it's just going to take patience with us. Let this young team grow because we got a nice young team. Of course, pitching has been an issue forever. So I just think we gotta get our pitching together, and then the Orioles will be fine. I think I mean, but that's easier said than done. But that's our MLB update. Well, let's look at the wild card stat. Let's just look at the current wild card stat. Even though, like I said, it's still early, but like I said, the American League pretty much, from the top three teams, and Seattle right now would be a playoff team if the playoffs started today. Tampa and Toronto, as I expected, has the two top wild card spots. But from Seattle on down to the Orioles, all those teams within 10 games of each other, within 7 games. Orioles is that team that's 7 back. But Kansas City, 5.5. Minnesota's 4. Texas, 3.5, 3. So it's kind of crowded in the American League wild card, so that could flip between now and the end of the season. National League, sort of the same. Um, Sort of the same. That's why I said still early. Sort of the same. But the Mets, the Brewers, and the Cardinals are right now your top three teams. San Diego a game out. Giants a game and a half. So it's Cincinnati 2.5, and then a little separation. Arizona 4. Then my Braves drop the 7.5 back. Miami's 8, and then everybody else is 10, 10 or more, 11 or more actually. So still room to make a run. So that's why I said the wild card. If you don't win the division, even though that's what you want to do, especially, um, even if you that third division winner, you still got to play that little 3-game series. You just want to avoid that. That's probably your main goal. But now that made having the best record a real big advantage. Even though some of those lower teams has been getting far, making deep playoff runs, teams that start in those 3-game series, the wild card teams, has been somewhat successful. But yeah, uh, you don't want to have to put your season with a 3-game. Just like that year, I think it was about a couple years ago when the Giants and the Dodgers um, had 100 wins. So one of those teams had to, I asked they wound up playing each other in the first round. I mean, in the divisional round. So things happen, but yeah, you want to avoid that 3-game series. But we'll keep an eye on this all season long, of course. I ain't gonna look at the stats that much today, but I always try to keep track with the home runs. Of course, uh, Carl Riley for the Seattle Mariners, he hit another one last night. He's your home run leader. Probably a surprise, but Judge and Tony, the regular guys are still right there. They Judge have 30 now, so yeah. So keep an eye on that throughout the season as well. So all right, that's our MLB talk for this day. Let me check out the NBA. Yeah, because the NBA starting to, the draft was last week. I think that the NBA made a great decision during the first round by itself and the second round on another day. So they split that. Some news still coming out. Just some quick hitters. Um, SGA about to get a Supermax deal. Are you surprised? No. So that's going to happen. Nuggets trade Michael Porter Jr. I talked a lot about Michael Porter Jr. for the Nuggets because I just think he will be the catalyst for them to stay a championship team. But I watched a little bit of sports talk this morning, and basically the experts saying that this was a money saving trade because Michael Porter Jr. just costs more money, and Cam Johnson from the Nets can score. He's a good scorer. So, and actually could argue maybe more consistent scorer. So, this might work out for the Nuggets. Maybe Porter Jr. need this. I know he's gone through some stuff off the court as well. As one of his brothers was in they got banned for gambling. Of course, you hear about Michael Beasley from the Detroit Pistons. He's in trouble right now for gambling as well. So, but I mean that kind of wear on him. Then I'm guessing that's his brother, so they probably put eyeballs, unnecessary eyeballs on him, making sure he's clear of that. But other than that, I think this could, because Brooklyn, they basically in no man's land right now. But the East is wide open. Maybe he will get more opportunities because the Joker is, Denver is the Joker's team. Um, so maybe he'll get more opportunity. The Jamal Murray was second, as far as getting the basketball. So maybe he needs just more opportunity. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Um, but basically, this is a money move. They think they will save about 34 million. Um, so that's what the experts are saying about that. Um, let's see other tidbits. Oops, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, Grizzlies. So I guess this put this the rest of Jared Jackson is off the table. He signed a big contract for the Memphis Grizzlies, 240. So he's not going anywhere. Um, Clint Capella's going back to the Rockets. Um, Mavs, this is a sneaky move. D'Angelo Russell signed with the Mavs. So I guess he's going to hold it down till Kyrie gets back. Um, I think Brick Lopez goes to the LA Clippers. That's a little quiet little trade there. I mean, little signing there. Um, Jordan Clarkson side with the Knicks. That's a little bit quiet, but I like that move for the Knicks. Um, Looney, part of that Warriors squad. He's gone. He's going to New Orleans. Um, and so we're gonna see a lot more free agency in the coming days. Um, but that's some of the more notable ones. But congratulations to SGA. He's a champion, MVP. Now he's about to get a Supermax 285 million Supermax deal, which he deserves. But I guess we're gonna have to see if OKC could keep all these guys under wraps. Especially in today's league, it's hard to keep your team together because you got to pay. You got these Supermax deals, so we'll see what goes on. But a lot of interesting moves. NBA just like the NFL, like once free agency starts to get you pumped up, anticipating for next season. Next season is going to be great. Like I said, the way the East is, and the way the West is. The West is so stacked. See, like it's all Western Conference. The East, basically, only team you can pretty much say that's stable is the Cavaliers and the Knicks right now. Boston, like I said, lost Tatum. And then Halliburton went down for the Pacers. So Philadelphia is an interesting team as well. We'll see if they can bounce back, but they just got to stay healthy. That's basically been their issue. But everybody else in the East is, even Miami. I throw Miami in there. Miami, they're gonna hang around just because of the way the organization is. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach, but Milwaukee also just losing Lopez. That was a big loss. They kept Portis. I know they signed Bobby Portis back. And you still got Giannis, but for now. Um, but it's still a lot of uncertainty in Milwaukee as well. So, going to be an interesting year next year already. We'll see more of these moves in the coming weeks. I will cover them right here on the channel. So, that's about it. As far as the NBA, ain't nothing other than that. They talk about the Lakers, and so. But yeah, so no real more significant things going on. But now we're gonna focus on the NFL. We're gonna focus on the NFL roundabout series. The AFC West is where we at now. So we got 3 left. We got the West, this is the AFC West. Then we stay in the AFC, we go to the East, and then the NFC. So we got 3 left, including this one. So But today, we're gonna talk about all four teams. But today, if you go over to my other channel, Solid Sports and Gaming Shorts, I do a 3-minute video on every team. Today, I'm gonna do the Kansas City Chiefs. So today is the Chiefs day. We used to talk about the Chiefs, because the run they've been on. But that's today's team, and then tomorrow, it's the Raiders, and then it's the Chargers to end it. But we're gonna touch on all four teams momentarily. Um, but let me see. Okay, I'm just making sure I don't got no important stuff here. No. All right. Um, yeah. So like I said, I've been doing this. This is the third year we've done it. Had a lot of fun with it. So until further notice, we're gonna do it every year. Uh, but that start, I've got the teams in alphabetical order. This is not the order I think the division going to finish in. We'll do more predictions when the season get closer. Um, so the Denver Broncos is first up, and I did a video on them already, so you go watch that now. But I think for the Broncos is was last year a stepping stone. Is they going to ascend to higher heights? Will they be in that AFC class? Because like I said, I think in the AFC, and it shows, Vegas basically believes it's just the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bills, and then there's everybody else sort of mixed in there. But Denver want to get into that elite class. Like I said, I like Bo Nix. I think that was a great move for them to draft him last year. Sean Payton, he rubbed some feathers when he first got there, but now I think he got the people that he wants there. So I expect Denver to still be competitive this year. Yeah, they got, defensively they got to do some things still, but I like the J.K. Dobbins pickup for the running game. So Denver's going to be an issue. We'll see if they can challenge the Chiefs in this division, but I think they could be a wild card team again like they were last year. But can they, basically go ahead to beat one of those three teams, Ravens, Bills, or the Chiefs, especially the Chiefs. You got them twice a year. I think if you could split, that'd be, optimistic. And if you don't win the division, at least you could beat them. They beat them last year, but it was the last game of the season. They rested everybody, so I don't put a lot of credence into that win. But they did win that game. But yeah, I expect them to compete for a wild card. But I like the way they're going. They just got to keep building, and we'll see if they ever become one of those elite AFC teams in the next few years. Next up, Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, we used to talk a bit about them as defending champions. But is the dynasty, is it over? Question marks out there. Question marks about Pat Pat Mahomes. I think I agree with some people, want to give the crown to Lamar or Josh Allen, which I get it. They both been MVPs now. But when it comes to beating Mahomes, they still can't do it. They both have fallen short in the playoffs. Only quarterback that's really beaten them is Joe Burrow in the postseason. So, and I guess you could say Jalen Hurts now because he beat him in the Super Bowl. But that's if we just look at the AFC. That's why you got to still put the Chiefs or top the AFC until further notice one of those teams beat them in the playoffs. Because we've seen them lose in the regular season a few times, but not in the playoffs. So until then, but I don't. I think some people think maybe Pat had lost a little bit. But I think the last 2 years, like I said, his numbers haven't been like out of this world numbers. It's been sort of a little above average. I don't go say average because it's still in that top tier, top 5, top 10 numbers. But I think I give him this credence that the receiving core has been inconsistent the last 2 years. They still try to get guys together. Somebody always get hurt in the season, so that throws things off. Travis Kelsey, we'll see what kind of year he has. Um, but I think he's motivated more than ever because a lot of people's doubting him. So I expect him to have a big year. So we'll see. I don't think he's he's done. Well, I don't want to say done, but is regressed. I just think the way the team is, and then the Chief defense finally stepped up. Um, so we'll see. I think this year we'll see. I mean, every day sort of stabilized. So I think we'll see the old Mahomes more than the younger Mahomes. The offensive line has been up and down as well. So we'll see. But I don't think that is over quite yet. Until somebody beat them. That's basically how things go. If we just talk about the AFC, until one of those teams beat them in the postseason, you gotta say uh, the roles still go through Kansas City to get out the AFC. Um, but back to the Super Bowl, yeah, I mean they got just as good a chance as anyone. Um, they've dominated this division. If they continue to do that, um, like I said, they'd probably be right there for the 1 seed again. Like I said, the 1 seed in the NFL now means a lot more because that's the only team that gets a bye. So, um, like I said, they looked shaky last year. Definitely, the way they won games last year, but they relied on their defense, and the defense came through most of the time. So, and then Pat, he still made plays, at the end of the games when it was one possession games, which was, I think they set a record for wins on one possession. So that's not just and for doing it that long. That's not luck. I think that's the way the team is. Andy Reid is a genius, so I expect the offense to play better this year. So the Chiefs are still in that elite class of the AFC for sure. Las Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll, I was sort of surprised that Pete came back. Not more that the Raiders signed him, that he's back in the NFL. I thought he was gonna, because Pete is what I want to say. I know he's at least 70, but I think he's like mid 70. I think he's like 74, something like that. But Pete Carroll is probably an underrated coach as far as football period. Even if you combine his college career, also, um, he's won a national championship in college. He's won the Super Bowl with Seattle. Always been a consistent coach. So them getting Geno Smith, I think, does stabilize their quarterback position. Um, but Geno is still more of a bridge. I think they need to hopefully get a franchise guy. He's good for this year, next few years. But I think they're gonna have to look somewhere, or maybe in the draft. I don't know how next year's draft is, or the year after. Um, but I think I said this about uh another team, but I think the Raiders would like they want to win, but I think if they had a bad year and maybe get a top 5 pick, I don't think they mind that either. Um, but I mean, they got talent. Brock Bowers, I love that kid, tight end. I think he's gonna be the next great tight end in this league. He already set rookie records for receptions, yards, everything. So, um, I think he's the real deal. I think he's gonna be our next dominant tight end as Kelsey starts to get older. Um, him, Isaiah Likely for the Ravens. So it's a lot of young tight ends coming up in the NFL, and he's definitely one of the best. But Raiders, like I said, they'd be competitive, but I mean, maybe they'd be around a 500 team. They might compete for a wild card. But I think they just trying to hold things together until they be able to really make a move and improve the team. So, but they'd be competitive. Gino, I give him credit. Him, like I said, Jared Goff, all these guys. So especially Gino, his career started off very, very shaky when he was with the Jets. Even I sort of had my opinions on him. I just thought he was immature, which which is nothing wrong with that. And that don't mean a bad person. It just was I think he just was a little immature. And then the Jets, you know, what quarterback has success there, but moved around the league, learned from some veterans, and now he's an established starter. So I give him credit, and that's why I think the Raiders will be competitive because he's not going to quit. He will give it all he got, and I think they'll win some games that you maybe don't expect them to win next year. So this season, so keep an eye on the Raiders. We keep an eye on the Raiders. But I think the year could go either way. It could be over the top, the Steve expectations, excuse me, or it could go the other way also. So it's just a team to watch out for. LA Chargers, very interesting team as well. Um, Jim Harbaugh, he's known to turn teams around. He got the Chargers to the playoffs last year. Um, that Houston, they was in that game, but just like the Chargers usually have done over the years in playoff games, just let it get away from them. But that's not Jim Harbaugh's makeup. I just think they'll learn from that. I got a lot of respect for him, so I think he's gonna have the Chargers at least competitive at minimum. But I think a lot of pressure's on Justin Herbert to be him. Um, Trevor Lawrence. There's a couple other guys that've gotten paid that has to prove themselves. Um, Great regular seasons. Um, Herbert, you see the raw talent, the raw arm that he has, athleticism that he got. Make some plays that make you say, "Wow," But in the postseason for sure, he's turned the ball over at the worst times. So he'll have to fix that. I think it's a lot of pressure on him to win. I think to win a playoff game, I think it's time that he need to do that. Lawrence has won one, but even in that game, actually he beat Herbert. That's the only person he beat in the playoffs. Um, so I think both of these guys sort of. I think they was drafted the same year, also. I believe. Um, so both of these guys are going to have at least years that you say, all right, we made the right decision. I think it's a little bit more pressure. Well, maybe it's even because Herbert is in LA, and the Chargers are already trying to get fans. It's more Rams fans in LA than the Chargers. The Chargers from San Diego, so a lot of people didn't understand the move, but I guess they had to do it. But um, so I say it's even because even if Lawrence struggles, Jacksonville, you know, and LA, I mean, nothing more to say about that. So maybe it's sort of even itself out because Herbert is in LA. But I think both of these guys gonna have to basically approve it to me year, or we'll see what the organizations do after that, especially Jacksonville, because I think they got new ownership. So yeah, so both of those guys, not to really talk more about Jacksonville, but the Chargers for sure. But I think because of Harbaugh, I think he can help Herbert, maybe rein him in. But yeah, they could be a playoff team again. Like I said, the AFC really after those three teams, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. I think I'd throw Houston in there just because I think Houston is clearly the best team in the South, but I still would put them under Baltimore, Kansas City, um, Buffalo. But I put Houston in there just for the sake of the conversation. Those four teams probably gonna be a division winners most likely. But then after that, um, I think it's wide open. I think all the wild cards in the AFC is wide open. Um, so Denver being there, like I said, maybe the Raiders in this division, Chargers. You go east, Now the East, Miami, we're gonna talk about them next week. Um, but Miami, maybe. New England to me, maybe still a year away. But and the Jets, maybe I really like Justin Fields. I think he learned a lot at Pittsburgh. I think he's going to have a big year for the Jets. So those three teams, maybe Miami. Like I said, if Tua stay healthy, Miami could do some things. They made some interesting trades. Um, they traded Ramsey to the Steelers yesterday. And got Micah Fitzpatrick. So not a bad deal there. But I think it's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in Miami. Players don't feel. I think they don't feel respected there. Players came out and said some things. So if Miami could get over all that, they could be a dangerous team, but they got to win in the cold also. The South, like I said, Jacksonville, um, with Travis, I think Travis Hunter is going to have a big impact. Um, but I would sleep on the Colts if A. Rich gets back. Um, I want to sleep on the Colts. And what's the other team in that division? I said Jacksonville. Houston is the Tennessee. I think Tennessee, like I said, still a year away as well. But I like the Cam pickup. And then we go to the North, of course. You got the Ravens win probably the division winner, but Cincinnati um, definitely gonna have something to say. Um, Cleveland's interesting because, like I said, I think Flacco fits with that offense, so they could be competitive. And then Pittsburgh getting Rodgers and some of the moves they made over the last couple of days. So, like I said, the AFC is stacked as far as after those three teams, and I throw Houston in there also. The wild cards is going to be crazy. So, um, basically, you just better win because the NFL tiebreakers is crazy. So if you're tired, that'll be you can have 10 wins and still miss the playoffs because you know you didn't win certain games. So just to assure that, just win, just go out there and win, and you'll be in the playoffs. So all right, so that's it for that. So um, like I said, go over to my second channel. I'm gonna do a Chiefs video today, talking about the Chiefs in a little bit more deeper, 3 minute video. So check that out, and maybe about 15, 20 minutes because I think I'm gonna do it right after I'm done here, which I'm pretty much done. Talk about everything I really wanted to talk about. Just some other sports news. Uh, if you're a tennis fan, I think the French Open have started. Is it the French Open? Wilmington. I'm sorry, Wilmington. I knew it was one of the big tournaments. So, so that started. So, if you're a tennis fan, definitely check that out. Uh, WNBA, been a little quiet. Nothing happened off the court. But the Commissioner's Cup Championship is tonight. Indiana Fever, Minnesota Lynx. Um, that's interesting because I think it's sort of like the even though the NBA took it also with the in-season tournament. I think it's basically like an in-season tournament. Fever, of course, with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is unbelievable. Um, she's changing the game. Uh, Angel Reese been quietly doing her thing as well. Those two is always going to be front and center for a while. But Asia Wilson's still doing her thing for the Vegas Aces. So, like I said, I've been trying to follow the WNBA more, but this is a big game tonight. Um, I wonder if the Fever can pull it off. Minnesota looking good this year, uh, so check that out if you're a WNBA fan tonight. I think that's it as far as our sports for today. Coming up on the channel, of course, Friday night streams. Like I said, I announced the game I'm going to decide to do on Friday night. So every Friday night we're stream live 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So join me Friday night again. Um, so that should be fun. Don't know what game I'm going to do yet. So I'll probably make a decision by tomorrow or Thursday, and I'll announce it um, on Thursday. I like to kind of do games that sort of I call them throwbacks, like something that's was out a couple years ago. Um, so it might be that, or I might do Doom. I don't know. I'll make a decision by then. Speaking of Doom, we're gonna continue that. So you'll probably see a video of that every day. Um, Breaking down the chapters in Doom. We did closer to the end, so check that out. Uh, I'm gonna do a Pacific Drive video today. Um, and look out for Forever Skies as well. Like I said, those two games probably go and pop in and out for a while. Uh, so check those out. But I think I'm gonna focus on Pacific Drive today. See if we can progress in that game. So that is it. No more blogs this week. Next week, don't know exactly yet. I have to look at my schedule, but I'll try at least to do one a week. At first, my schedule was clear because I was going to do a marathon. I was going to do 3 days in a row, but then I worked the next few days, so couldn't do that this week. But this was a good show today. I'm not gonna ramble anymore. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for the support. Like I said, I just continue to push. Things going on behind the scenes, but I continue to push forward. I appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate to all my new subscribers. I mean, I noticed you guys. I'm gonna try to do shout out Thursdays again, or I think I had it on Wednesday. But I'm gonna try to shout out a few of you guys. That's why I need you guys to comment, because it'd be easier for me to, shout you out and add at you so you can see it directly. Because I can't really see all my subscribers. I need a laptop bad, like, for my YouTube studio. That would help me edit and do the other things I used to do. I used to pin other videos. I can't do none of that stuff. All my streaming and gaming come through straight through my PlayStation. And the 4 was better for me to do it because I was able to get into the main YouTube studio and do it in stream and stuff like that. I need to check some out. I might can Google. Maybe I can get it through my phone. I got the studio app on my phone, but you can't edit as much as you can if you had a laptop. So I wonder if I can log in maybe through my browser on my phone. Maybe I can do some of that stuff. So I'll check it out. But thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go and get out of here. And I see you guys next week here. I see you guys Friday night. Friday night I'll be streaming, so you'll hear my voice. You'll be able to talk to me if you want. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys Friday night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay cool. Summer's definitely here. We got storms here today. So just stay safe, and I'll see you guys Friday night. I'm Troy West said, thank you for watching the Solid Sports Gaming channel. Solid Sports Video Blog, episode 297 in the books. And I'll see you guys Friday night. Thank you so much. Peace and love always.